Granny Apple Smith. Wait, is that no Granny Smith Apple?
Granny Smith Apple.
Granny Apple Smith.
I thought the Apple was her middle name. Monsters at Work was very colorful.
Monsters at Work was packed with top-notch voice talent.
Monsters at Work was full of monsters.
Ah, it sure
True.
was.
Yeah,
True. No lies
that's just
detected.
a fact.
Hey, everybody,
Yeah.
welcome to Falling Towers Watch the First podcast, the podcast in which we watch the first episode of a series so that you don't have to. Today we're reviewing, you guessed it, Monsters at Work. Entitled, first episode is Welcome to Monsters Incorporated. With us, as always, Monster Slayer, but also Monster, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg.
I'm a monster hugger. Are you kidding me?
Aw.
All right. We're also joined today by costume designer, cosplayer, and maker of things, Jacqueline Goehner.
Oh, I'm gonna have to poke you a little bit because
Please.
you pronounced my last name wrong.
I was going to ask you before we
Goehner.
recorded. It's Goehner?
I know. Yeah, I thought you said it correctly before. I've known you for years. I just
feel
never
like
realized that you never said my last name, I think, probably.
I feel like I've always said it. I feel like I've always said it the way you've said it. And then just now when I read it, I was like, it looks German. I feel like they pronounce it Gainer. So I panicked and said it the German way. And then I also thought, wait, does she want to be called Jackie or Jacqueline? So maybe I got that wrong too.
No, I'm either one. It's Goehner. That's my only requirement, which you failed so hard.
Welcome to our show. Get used to it.
Yeah.
We're going to say wrong things. All right. So, by the way, Michael, am I saying your name right?
No, never. You've never
Shit.
said it once right. Yeah.
My bad. Okay. So, yeah, we're reviewing Monsters at Work. It's a new Disney show. I guess kind of like a sequel to Monsters.
Yes, a
Incorporated.
spin-off, I would
Yeah.
say. I would say
Mhm.
spin-off.
Do it.
Television series spin-off.
Yeah, it seems like it's a spin-off, but it's like directly after the events of the first Monsters Inc. So spin-off sequel or a sequel. I don't know.
I
Yeah.
feel like sequel is like for a movie, right?
True.
I don't really
Yeah,
know
no,
all
you're
the
right.
technical terminology, but
Okay.
it does
It's more
take
like-
place after, so that in that way it is a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's weird.
if you guys want us to really get into the nitty gritty of a show, kind of like we're doing here, say WTF in the comments below, followed by the show you'd like us to review. You could say WTF Smurfs, or you could say WTF Transformers, or you could say WTF, Good Times, or you could say WTF Stranger Things. And that stands for Watch the
Ooh.
First. And we
Yeah,
may
we haven't watched
review
that
it.
one yet.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay.
Wait, which one?
Any of those. We haven't watched any of those yet.
Oh, really? Ooh.
They're all still on the
Yeah.
table.
Nobody's seen any of those shows ever.
I have not seen any of those at all ever in my life.
Ooh, wow, really? Wow.
No, I have.
wow.
I have.
Oh. I was like, those are important things to
Those
have
are
in your
important
life.
things. I watch all the important things in my life. They're
Okay.
very important to me. So it's all good.
Speaking of which, I'll tell you what else is important. It's time for the first game of the day. It's
Well,
no,
I'll tell you what else is even more important than that.
Yes,
is
tell
for
us.
everybody to click the thumbs up icon to like this video. And if you have not subscribed, consider subscribing. It's nothing. It doesn't, all you have to do is push a button. How hard is that?
Yeah, it's just you just do this, but not to your screen. Well, to your screen, but on the lower part of the screen.
I mean,
Don't
if
cover
you're on
our
your
faces.
phone,
We're
yeah,
trying to talk to
definitely.
you.
Yeah.
If you're on
yeah.
your phone or mobile device, you can hit the screen. But yeah, otherwise.
Then you go, boop. Just
Who's
boop
on their
it.
computer anymore? I'm just always on my phone. I do everything on my phone. Like everything. Like it's insane. Anyway,
All right.
yeah, sorry. I'm
No,
rattling.
not at all.
Go
This
ahead.
is it. This is it. We're ready. So game number one is my favorite game. That's why I'm always so excited to play it. And I kind of want to just get through everything as quickly as possible. I don't even care if I pronounce people's names right. I'm just like, let's just get to the first game, which is called Predictions.
Expectations.
Michael and Michael and I have known each other for a very long time, longer than most people have been alive. It's a fact.
Mhm.
And by fact, we mean asterisk, not a fact, but still a long time. And so we can usually predict if the other person liked it. So let's do it. Michael and everybody at home, make your predictions. Do you think I liked it? Do you think Michael liked it? Do you think Jackie liked it? Michael, I predict that you were right down the middle on it. You were fine with it. Not too hot, not too cold. Maybe slightly higher because it did have good talent attached. Jackie, I'm going to predict that you liked it a little bit more than average. You were warm on it. Michael, what do you think?
I think that Ryan, even though he is a fan of Pixar movies, he is not a fan of this show. He did not like it. Jackie, I don't know you too well or at all, so I'm just gonna throw a pitch out into the left field. I don't think you pitch out of the left field. I don't know what you do.
Not unless you're facing the wrong way.
I was going to say you usually pitch to the batter, but okay, all right.
Yeah, but that's how wild this pitch is going to be. Is that I'm just going to say that you also did not like it.
Oh, okay.
Jackie, any predictions on us?
I think you both. I'm actually going to say that you're both in this category. I think you both I wouldn't say enjoyed it, but like appreciated it for what it was. It wasn't bad. It wasn't annoying or whatever. You didn't dislike it, but you didn't fall in love with it or love it or any of that. You just appreciated that they made a spin-off sort of thing that was not terrible. Go with that.
I feel like Jackie
for both of you.
I feel like Jackie was kind of like receiving psychic impressions when she was saying, because she was like, I'm sensing, right? There's somebody...
I'm kind of wearing like my moon and stars shirt. So, everything's aligning for me right now. I can tell what everybody's thinking.
Let's find out if those moons that were whispering in your ear were correct. Everybody at home, make sure you make your predictions right now. Michael's going to buy you a little bit of time by telling us all, what is this show even about?
Yeah, it would have been nice if I would have actually wrote down the synopsis first, but okay.
Oh.
Man, I really dropped the ball with this one. So let me just pull it up really quickly and tell you that
Focus.
At Monsters, Inc., a series set 6 months after Monsters... What? Okay. Start over. Reset. A Monsters, Inc. series set 6 months after the Monsters, Inc. film about the monsters getting their energies from children's laughs instead of their screams. In this episode, Tyler Tuskman arrives at Monsters, Inc. to be a scarer, but learns that scaring is out and laughter is in. Brought it back.
I get it.
All right.
Good delivery. Now,
Very from the chest.
This is it. Game number 2. And this is when people are going to start to find out whether we actually did like it or not. The mystery, the veil is going to start to come up. So we compare and contrast what we expected versus what we got. So first, we're going to talk about...
This one is expectations. That first one's prediculations.
Oh.
That's a
These are just
terrible
names
name,
that I
and
came
we
up
will
with that
never
Ryan
use
hates.
it.
Yeah.
Ever. Except for maybe next week. So I have a feeling, I predict that I'm going to fold and get outnumbered next week. That's my prediction.
All right.
So
a bold prediction.
We compare and contrast what we expect versus what we got. Before we watched this episode, we want to talk about what we expected before we watched it. And then afterwards, we'll talk about what we actually got. First and foremost, Michael, before you watched this episode, what did you expect, if anything?
Well, I did have some expectations. expectations. I screwed myself up because always say expectations. So I saw the trailer of this show, and I think that's why we decided to watch it, because I was like, hey, a new show. That's what I do sometimes. I'm like, hey, there's a new show. We should watch this show. And then Ryan's like, all right. That's exactly how he sounds when he says it too. But yeah,
I'm very mopey.
I saw the trailer, and I saw that both Billy Crystal and John Goodman were reprising their roles as Mike Wazowski and what is his name? Sullivan.
James Sullivan.
James Sullivan.
Sully.
So I saw that they were reprising their roles, and I was like, okay, wow. How did they get this big name movie talent to do a TV show? It's probably because they're getting that Disney money. So that's what I was expecting. I was expecting a good show in the spirit of Pixar films, with lots of Billy Crystal and John Goodman.
Mm-hmm. Hear, hear. Now, Jackie, before you watched the episode, what did you expect?
I was sort of expecting. I was just sort of expecting something that was kind of like okay, I grew up in the 90s, and anytime there was a sequel to a major hit success, usually kind of fell short with Disney. Like, I don't know if you remember, like Aladdin, the movie, and then there was The Return of Jafar, which was just awful. And then there was The Lion King, and then The Lion King 2. And I'm thinking in terms of animated. And so I'm thinking like, okay, I'm going to set my bar a little low here, because, Monsters, Inc. actually did have, well, it wasn't a sequel, it was a prequel. And since this one is events right after Monsters, Inc., it's like, okay, well, how do it's not a movie, it's a TV show. So maybe it'll be better fleshed out or whatever. Cause I don't know. My expectations were, I don't know how this is going to be, because it's also Pixar. Pixar's actually really good with sequels. But it's still Disney. So yeah, I don't know. That was my whole thing, is like, well, we're going to find out, but lower that bar just a touch and then step right on over. So, yeah.
That was a very wise expectation, because, there are a lot of Disney sequels that don't meet the level of the original.
Of success of the original. And I know that's a little unfair, because always, like, anytime there's a huge hit, there's so much pressure to, do better, to make it funnier or exciting, or, and they usually try to, I wouldn't say copy the old formula, but essentially it is copying the old formula. Like they'll apply the same jokes or the same plot line or same twists or things like that. And so I was sort of expecting it with this as well, because you have John Goodman and you have Billy Crystal in it, and you have actually a lot of other minor characters. Well, not necessarily minor, because they're not actually minor. Like Jennifer Tilly was in it. She was Celia.
Right.
But I will say, when
wait, don't get into what you got yet.
So no, I'm not saying like who, I'm not giving a spoiler, just because I did see like who was in the cast that I didn't recognize from the originals. Can I say that?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe.
So okay, fine. Then I won't say it. But all right.
We can get into that a little bit later.
Yeah,
all right,
Mike's the
right now
one.
we're just talking about what we expected right now.
Okay, well, I've ranted on long enough, so go ahead.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I expected then.
Okay.
Similar to Jackie a bit. I was skeptical. Because it's Pixar movies tend to be very good and very well written, in my opinion. And, I'm not 100% sure if series are as well executed. So I was a little skeptical there, but also optimistic because, well, Pixar's got a good track record overall, I think. And also, I remember when I watched Monsters, Inc. back in the day, I was very skeptical. I was like, a cartoon about this looks weird. And I watched it and I was pleasantly surprised. It was enjoyable. It was fun. It was actually a good movie. And it made me want to ride the ride when I went to California Adventure. And the ride was, not as good as the movie, but still I rode it because of the movie. So that's what I expected. I expected something that was either good or bad. that's all I had there. But I really
But you didn't
expect
expect anything in between. No.
Right. Here it comes, Michael. What did you actually get, though?
It was okay. It was an okay show with Jonah from Superstore as the lead character voice. I mean,
really?
There's a little
cool.
Yeah. There's a little bit of Billy Crystal and John Goodman, not as much as I had expected or wished or hoped for or dreamed about, but we did get Ben Feldman, who played Jonah in Superstore, and Mindy Kaling, and
yeah,
I really like Mindy Kaling's character.
Oh, I love her too. She's an excellent writer.
We'll get into that.
Which character was she? Was she the furry?
Yeah, she's the two.
She was Val Little. She was Val Little.
Yeah.
I remember.
So yeah, but it was an okay show, but with some good voice talent, but there wasn't as much Billy Crystal and John Goodman as I would have dreamed about.
Jackie, what did you actually get?
Kind of a similar sort of thing. I got, it was definitely sort of like what I anticipated in terms of like, okay, it's a Pixar movie. They're like, Pixar is also really great at bringing people back from, like not just like big characters, but minor characters too.
Mm-hmm.
So when, I was very, very happy with Mindy Kaling being in it. Very excited about that. But I kind of already knew that right before when I looked up the cast. I was like, but also, because she's just funny in everything she does. And she was really funny in that. So I was pleasantly surprised with, like my apprehensions. Like, okay, so far the first episode seems to be all right. Every first episode's like rough. You have the whole introduction of characters. Yeah. So, and you're developing, especially like new ones. Like as Mike said, like you didn't see as much of Sully or Mike, like Billy Crystal and John Goodman's characters, but it was kind of necessary because you really have to build what's his name, Tyler Hornman, I think that's his last name. You had to build Tuskman. I think of the horns and like they're tusks, but they come out of his head.
The incredible Tuskman.
Yes. But yeah, Tyler, he's obviously the main character of this. And it's actually kind of funny because not that I associate everything with The Office with Mindy, but the character wait, are we going more deeply into it, or is it just
we'll go more
overall...
deeply later? Yeah, we'll keep
okay.
the overall.
I keep I'm like, I want to talk about characters. Let's go.
It sounds like somebody liked this show. We'll find it. It's starting to seem like Jackie may have liked it a bit, but I'll tell you what I got real quick.
All right.
Just
okay.
real quick.
Okay.
I'll just sneak it in. Yeah, I got, I didn't look at any of the, the people that were in it. So I got a show. I was actually surprised when I saw Sully and whatever Wazowski guy back in it. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I immediately listened and was like, wait, but are they the same people that did the voices? Because a lot of times they'll have some knockoff guys doing the voices that cost way less. And I was surprised. I was like, that's definitely John Goodman. And Billy Crystal was a little tougher to tell because it seems like his voice has changed quite a bit. But, that's pretty impressive that they got them both back. So that was interesting to me. And what I got basically was an okay show. It was okay. There was nothing about it nothing about it that I didn't really like in any strong way. But I don't think there was anything about it that I was that enamored by, other than at the 21.5-minute mark, they're like, just kidding, we're done. 6 minutes of credits. And I was like, cool, I'm done. Yes. So that was cool. That was a fun, pleasant surprise for me. But so that's quite an all-star cast.
Things.
Well, that just means you're done sooner.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, what if you really like the
cast.
credits? Then you have to watch the entire credits.
Well, that's for somebody
liked
else.
That's for
When
me.
it's a Marvel
I like
thing,
credits.
when it's a Marvel thing, I definitely skip ahead just to make sure I'm not missing anything. But when it's, this Disney thing, I was like, I'm not gonna miss anything if I miss the credits. I did still kind of skip really quick, but I felt confident.
Well, there's a lot of animators that are very sad that you didn't sit to watch their name.
Well, we are very popular amongst animators in Disney. That's true. So we apologize to 400 of you. That's the only joke I have there.
No,
there's nothing more than that.
That's not even really a joke.
Yeah.
But maybe we should talk about who our favorite characters were.
Well, that's
Ryan's favorite question to ask.
I was saving it for later, but since you've breached it, I can't wait to get into it. Here's a question. What's your favorite character on this show? Michael, what do you think? Did you have a favorite?
Yeah, I guess that is a good way to say it, what and not who, because they're monsters. They're not really people. So, my favorite character of all of the characters would have to be Mindy Kaling's character, which is Val. Mm-hmm. She's the orange clomper monster. I love her. I dropped out of college, and I got bored and
and now we both work the same jobs.
yeah. That was kind of an underhanded little
that was fun.
Humble brag, but I thought she was funny. I think she thought she added a lot, and like Mindy Kaling's personality really comes out in this crazy monster. Mindy Kaling from The Office, but also she had her own show, The Mindy Project, which went like 6 or 7 seasons or something.
I've never really watched either of those shows.
Yeah, but you don't watch anything though.
Yeah, but I knew that she existed. I knew who she was. I didn't know that was her until you guys just told me. Mm-hmm. Jackie, did you have a favorite character?
Yep. Yeah, I kind of already revealed who my favorite character was, and that's Val Little, which was Mindy Kaling's character. So, that's she's. But if I had a second character,
okay,
I'd probably say, because Mist, which is the
Monsters Incorporated facilities team.
Yeah,
Very
that's
nice.
The department that Tyler gets sent to, and you're introduced to like all the characters down there. It really reminded me of, it's very Office. Right. I mean, I'm not just saying that because of
Mindy,
but also because of the character Duncan. Really reminds me of
Michael Scott.
What's his name? No. What's his name? Rainn Wilson plays him.
Dwight.
I haven't watched The Office. Dwight Schrute. Really reminds me of him. Just in the whole like.
Oh, okay. You mean Duncan. The guy with the 4 eyes that wants to be that's the deputy guy, whatever.
Yep. Okay, he just reminds me of him, which is really another thing too that I wanted to point out about him. And maybe like Pixar is listening, but it bugged the heck out of me. So he's got these bat wings, and the sound effect that they use was for like something fluttering, and his bat wings aren't fluttering. They're just doing like, stop it. That's for a dragonfly or a hummingbird. It's because you hear the, and I'm like, no, don't do that. Make the wings sound correct.
Do you think that's deliberate? Do you think they're doing that to be funny, or do you think they just were like, well, whatever, that's all we got?
I don't know. It didn't feel funny. It got under my skin. So unless that was their intention, good job. But yeah, no, that was my one little complaint about Duncan. It was like, but it wasn't about him. Like the actor, who was it? Lucas Neff. I think it was. Yeah, he did a great job. And I don't know. I think I feel like I really liked the entire Myth team. You had Banana Bread. It was just like tapping his friend, like, oh, that's so cute. I love the little hamster character in there. And Cutter's like, she's awesome. But yeah, definitely Val Little's probably my favorite out of the entire cast.
The whole thing.
Whole thing. But I wanted an honorable mention to Duncan because I thought he did I thought that was a really good character too. So
yeah, that's great. It's good.
A lot of potential for future episodes,
Plus it spices things up. Otherwise, we're all going to say the same thing, except for me. Val Little was not my favorite character. I thought she may have been because she did have a good intro. So as I was watching, I was like, is this going to be my favorite character? Is she going to be funny? But then 2 things happened. One was about 3 or 4 other characters had basically the exact same introduction as her, where they come in and they go, hi, I'm blah, 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 blah. And I love blah, blah, blah. And then I'm this and I'm that. And they make all these jokes and they tell you, they make all these jokes uninvited, where they just, she comes in, she says, can you believe we went to the college together and we did this and we did that and we did and all that and blah, 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 blah. Cool. Great intro. Then the next person had the exact same intro. This guy, the walrus guy, the elephant seal guy, same intro.
Henry Winkler.
Yeah. Oh, was it him?
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking love Henry.
It was
Winkler.
him. You didn't recognize his. Oh, it was great.
I didn't pay attention to. I had no idea who the voices were. I didn't look it up or anything. But except for when those 2 characters I knew came up. Oh, and Celia as well. But he comes in and he has the same intro where he just starts oversharing, right? Oversharing for like a minute, and then green guy with the 4 eyes, same thing. Oversharing for like a minute. He takes him into a closet and he overshares. And that happened. I think one other character did that as well, but at least those 3. And I realized this is just the same introduction over and over and over again, which did not impress me at all. But then the other thing that happened was a different introduction, who I think may have been from the movie, our friends Smitty and Needleman, the 2 little workers that are carrying stuff. They were funny, where they were going like, shut up, he can still hear you. He's depressed or whatever like that. They had very few lines, but they were funny because they just come off as idiots. And one's a nice idiot. The other one's kind of a tone deaf idiot.
Right.
And they were simple little laughs for me. And I like that. I like simple things.
Yeah, those were funny. Yeah, Henry Winkler was great. I mean, you got a lot of voice talent. As mentioned, Jennifer Tilly, Alfred Molina played the professor. He was he was in a superhero movie, wasn't he? He was something. He's an actor. People know Alfred Molina. If you don't know Alfred Molina, then you're not people.
Whoopsie.
Curtis Armstrong was like the guy trying to find him a job, or the trainer at Monsters Inc. Curtis Armstrong played Booger. He was also
we
One
like
Crazy
him.
Summer and Better Off Dead. Those cool 80s movies.
Wow, that's
Bonnie
cool.
Hunt. Bonnie Hunt
as Miss Flynn.
Yeah. So yeah, there's great voice talent in this in this show.
Giant cast of talented people.
And even the small people, like the Alfred Molina has just a few lines as the professor, and Curtis Armstrong as the guy trying to find him something.
Okay, but who were Smitty and Needleman is the real question that everybody's dying to know the answer to.
Smitty was Steven Stanton.
Okay.
I don't know who that is.
I think he's the first baseman for the Miami Marlins.
Truth or fact, I don't know.
Doubt it.
That name sounds familiar. Was he?
He says he does some voice talent for Star Wars: The Bad Batch and in Rebels.
Nice.
Okay.
Probably just a voice actor.
What about Needle Nose?
I'm looking for him.
I know I'm super impatient. I hear you playing with your mouse right now and working on it, but I'm like, come on, just give it to me.
That's okay. It's okay.
Oh,
We'll
wait.
move on. We'll
Sipping
move
break.
on.
All right. Well, I do want to touch on what Ryan said about the whole, like everyone's just sort of introducing their characters. It's first episode, so you kind of have to get through that exposition,
Right.
you know, like sinking of their teeth into you. Like it's always uncomfortable. But I thought, I thought it was done fine. Like, I mean, yeah,
Same guy.
it's so much yeah, so
Same
much
guy. I had a feeling. Yeah, I guess my point was just that what's her name? Val had a shtick. Like in the way that they delivered the exposition, they delivered that introductory exposition in the same way with multiple characters. And that's kind of what, where they just overshared without the main character
without being
probing or
prompted
asking.
to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And usually they're better than that, I think, usually.
Well, first episode, I always say. Get through the first episode.
What'd you guys think of the
As long as
animation,
it's-
by the way? Great color, right?
Mm-hmm. Very good. It felt smooth. It felt colorful. It was very, very reminiscent of the original Monsters Inc.
Right.
So,
Felt very Pixar. Yeah.
yeah.
I loved it.
They probably just used the original models and just they had all the original models and sets from when they made the movie, so they probably just reused all those same things.
Yeah.
I also liked how creative they are with their monsters, because when it's animated, you could go as big or as small or as creative as you want. You don't have to, be confined by, practical things with like humans in it or Muppetry or anything like that, puppetry. So I thought that they were very creative with the different kinds of monsters that they have, different sizes, and the lady that's just a furry horseshoe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, same thing with Monsters University too, and Monsters Incorporated. You get to see all these different types of different monsters, and that's what's great. Is like the monster universe is so diverse, way more diverse than our lame universe.
Yeah.
All these bipedal humans walking around.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's funny. I had a feeling the word bipedal was about to come out of your mouth. I think I'm getting some of Jackie's crystal ball magic. I'm sensing bipedal is about to come out of Michael's mouth.
What am I thinking right now?
Green.
Close. Very close.
That's all I got. Can't do two blue. Another color.
I was thinking that I really want to hug this guy. He looks really soft and furry.
I guess I should say I'm sensing something green, and then you were like, yes.
He's kind of greenish, kind of teal.
Yes, he's teal, more teal. Yeah. Technically, if you mixed our answers together, we were correct.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I mean, what I was thinking is that I wanted to hug him, but
he does look very cuddly, like you could bury your face in there as if you don't mind the smell.
Yeah, you can't hug a color.
He looks pretty clean though. I bet they shower.
His hair does look very shampooed.
I wouldn't say shower. I would think he probably just takes like a big dustful, like how the chinchillas do. Yeah, how they just like roll in there. I think that's what he does. I don't think he actually. Well, maybe he does. There might have been a scene that I'm forgetting in Monsters Inc. or MU, Monsters University or whatever, where they shower or something. I don't know why they would show that though.
I think he uses little monsters as loofahs. He's just like going like this with them and clean. Oh, let me.
Yeah, get in there.
He uses Mike Wazowski as his loofah. What was the funniest moment to you guys? You guys have any moments that you just thought that's it? This is the funniest moment. There are none funnier. Michael, what do you think? Was there a moment?
Yeah, I guess what was the name? Smitty and Needleman or whatever. Yeah, those guys were funny. Yeah, I agree that was a fun little part that they're just kind of. He's like, he can still hear us. When they're walking away, like, yeah, I mean that was a foot. So anybody, if you haven't seen the show, keep an eye out for those two little guys and their funny antics.
Those rascals, them and their antics. Boy, oh boy. Jackie, serious question. What was to you the funniest moment?
Those two were definitely very, very funny. But we've already seen them be that kind of funny in the previous Monsters Inc. Uh, I would say of the new characters, like yes, Val Little was super funny, like with her ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching line. I just thought it was adorable. But also Duncan's, where he's like ominously like yeah, yeah, and like it just goes on, and then Tyler's just like reaching for the button. Just I thought that was cute and funny. So I'm more of a physical comedy person. So,
Good
but yeah,
moments.
it
Definitely
was
the
cute.
ka-ching.
I liked it.
The ka-ching moment was funny to me too. I like that because
Yeah.
she said, "You're more like ka-ching, ka-ching," or something like that. And when
I'm
people
just like,
say these funny things, I try to think, is it funny on the page or is it funny delivery? And sometimes obviously it's both. And this was one of those cases where it was obviously both, which is more often the case, I think. And what was the funniest moment? Maybe those guys that we already mentioned, those little buddies. I did notice the moment you were talking about, Jackie, where he kind of went, yeah. It just kept going and going. And you have to really listen. You're like, is he still going? Yep, he's still going. He's still going. It's a lot of takes to get that down. Lots of funny parts. And to me, no, please, Jackie, this is it. You had something good you're about to say. Let's hear it.
I did. Sorry. When she became her own beeper, when she said, I took out the beeping sound so I could do it myself. I forgot that was probably my favorite moment.
Yeah,
sorry.
That was pretty good. Yeah,
right.
That was good. And because she does it again, like I'm gonna park the car, and she does it, and you hear it like echoing in the other room. So I thought that was cute and funny.
Right. I think that's what made it funniest was when she did it again. Because then we're like, oh, I know what she's doing. I get it. I remember. That was solid.
Makes me want to take the horn out of my car and just, start
yell
honking at people like, honk, honk. I like doing it myself, so I'll just go ahead and do it. There you go.
Michael's actually done that with his Acura when he goes, auga, right?
I never had an Acura, but it was a Honda Prelude.
Yeah, but you've also never gone auga before. I was just kind of making everything up.
Maybe I did. I don't know. How am I supposed to know? I was stoned most of high school anyway, so.
Oh.
Yeah. I do remember your Prelude, though. I remember one time where, well, we can't really get into those kinds of details, I don't think, but we had fun times.
Needless to say, we've known each other for a very long time.
Yeah. Needleman to say, all right, so I think that we have given this show plenty to appreciate. And we've given the fans plenty to chew on. And now it's time for us to move forward and talk about you, Jackie.
Oh boy.
Yep,
okay.
That's it. I hope you're ready. We hope you're ready because it's coming. Can you please tell us, first things first, you've got some conventions coming up. Let's hear about them.
Well, I have one big one that's coming up now that conventions are opening back up and whatnot. I'm very excited to start attending them. There is a convention called SillyCon, which is by Adam Savage. It is in San Jose, California, and it is the end of August. So like the last weekend of August. My apologies. I can't remember if the last weekend of August is the 28th and 29th or it's the 27th and 28th, but it's
28th and 29th, I think.
I think you're right. I think it's 20th and 29th.
You said San Jose, California.
San Jose, California.
I think I've been there.
Yeah, at the convention center. Yeah, it's a
fun fact, Jackie. The reason Michael is being so coy is because that's where we're from. We're from San Jose, California. Yeah. And when we have a lot of naughty stories to tell, they usually took place in San Jose, California. Yeah. Jackie's from there as well, near there,
I'm
right?
also from there as well. Yeah, Campbell.
Oh, okay.
Campbell.
That's where I started doing stand-up comedy, is at the Gaslighter there.
Oh, neat. All right, cool.
Good old Gaslighter.
Anyway, I don't know if it's still there though.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
Confirmation August 28th and 29th. It seems to be our Saturday and Sunday for the Silicon Valley Comic-Con, now called SillyCon. Please continue.
Yes. Actually, and just to add on to that, it before it was Silicon, it was Silicon Valley Comic Con, and then before that, it was Big Wow. So I've been going there ever since Big Wow. I've been a guest there like every year. It's my favorite. Like that and Dragon Con are my two top favorite conventions of all time. And yeah, it's a very science. Like science and maker kind of convention. So that if that's what you're really, really into, like, you know how like San Diego Comic-Con's obviously into comic books. You know, Penny Arcade Expo is obviously into video games. This one is definitely very science fiction, maker related, like engineering, things like that. It's just a really great convention. I just love it. I love it so much. So I'll be going to that. I am going to be, I have two costumes that I'm making, but one of them I don't think I'm going to get done in time. So I'm not really quite pushing that one out there. And that's Samus from Metroid Prime 1 or 2. Haven't decided which one. Although I do have my helmet made, and that's the Prime 1 helmet.
Can we
Big
see
difference
it?
is like there's
Is that up there?
It's up there, but it's like it's very I thank goodness I cleaned up in here. It doesn't look clean, but that's because I'm still working. Oh, you probably saw my shorts and stuff. Oh no, rats.
No, we just
It's
saw
like,
a
you know
red
how,
hat.
like, oh good, just a red hat. Wait, I don't know if you can. Okay, there we go.
Cool.
So this goes on like here. And then it actually has like a whole thing that connects to it. Then of course I have the visor and all that, but this is Prime 1. And I don't have any of my inserts in here. They're floating around somewhere. I have no idea where they are. But yeah, so that's my Prime helmet. And you can kind of see right here in my messy background, my pauldrons that I'm working on. They are
What are
styrofoam. Pauldrons are shoulder armor.
Shoulders.
Yeah. If you're familiar with Samus, she's got these huge balls on her shoulders, and
Speaking of
pauldrons.
Samus, you know who else has big balls? Stannis.
Baratheon?
Yes. That's what I thought of when you said Samus.
That's Ryan for you.
And then you were talking about shoulder pad. I'm like, but what about Stannis Baratheon? Everybody's favorite guy ever from Game of Thrones, right? I'm not the only one.
No, not that guy.
No. Let's go back to the interview probably, huh?
Yeah. Stannis Baratheon, everybody's favorite. But please continue.
With balls on his shoulders, clearly. Yeah. That's who I think of immediately. No, but I have Samus, and I'm don't think I'm going to finish the entire thing in time. Not in a wearable sort of way. But the other one that I am confident that I'll have done in time is Lisa from Genshin Impact, which is a video game you play on your phone and all that fun stuff. It's a very fun game. I recommend it. Genshin Impact. It probably annoys the heck out of you if you're watching a YouTube, channel or whatever video, and then the ads play and it's Genshin Impact, and you're like, skip ad, and then it's like, don't skip that. Well, I mean, skip the ad, but download it. It's really good. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't ever get those ads. So
maybe I do because I play video games, and that's just, I don't know, man.
That's how they get you. That's what I always say.
Well, I mean, I was already into it anyway, so
that's
up there she is.
Lisa.
That's what I'm gonna look like. Lisa from Genshin Impact.
Purpley.
Very purple, yeah, and very witchy. So,
all right. Can
you guess what I'm into? She's the librarian in it, and she's very, very sultry. She's a cool character.
The old sultry librarian trope.
Yeah, such trope. Yeah. No, she's just really nice. I like her. But yeah, those are the two characters that I'm planning on. Although Samus, again, I might not happen, might happen, most likely won't happen. But Lisa definitely on the docket there. So
that's exciting.
So yeah.
Are you glad that conventions are back on?
Oh, very
excited.
A while. Very. It feels like forever. It feels like you went on like hiatus. I mean, you technically did, but you went on hiatus for like number of years, and then you're trying to get back into the swing of things, and you're just sort of like, how do I socially interact with people? I'm only used to the screen, and that's it. I did do a convention, a very small one, few weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. And it was like, we were in this like huge hangar. So everyone was also like really spaced out really well. And then it was like, okay, I feel okay. But yeah, it's like every convention is going to be different. You can't expect everybody to have the same set of rules and whatnot. So
hey, if there's a convention where everybody's spaced out, you're talking our language.
Yeah, you know, right? Oh my God. Yeah. So like, I mean, conventions like are so far the only one that I've been to has been okay about, you know, people like, not like the convention itself, but people that went were just kind of okay about socially distancing. But they were a lot better than like if you go to Target or Walmart or whatever, and you know, you're trying to just get one thing and people are just going right up on you. I'm like, excuse me, I'm still wearing my mask. That means you stay the heck away from me. I feel like anybody who's wearing a mask, just stay away from them. How about that?
We should all have like big inner tubes around us so that people physically can't get near us.
Exactly. Let's keep that.
Even when the pandemic's gone, you know, let's just keep people away from us. Gross.
Yeah, I'm thrilled about that.
Anyway, we do also hope that you might go to Star Trek Las Vegas. Sorry, the 55-year mission. That's a maybe for you, but otherwise, everybody make sure you go check out Jackie at SillyCon, which is going to be awesome. And we will include all of her links in the description box below. So please be sure to follow all of her awesome social media, support all of her awesome projects, and go see her at awesome conventions. And now, this is it. This is the moment that everybody that's at home right now feeling nervous, they're feeling nervous because it's time for the bottom line. Yeah. So this is something that Michael affectionately calls the terrible twos, but officially it's the bottom line. Mike loves terrible twos. He loves to say the terrible twos.
I'll just call it the bottom line.
But he fights. He's like always like, I want to call it the terrible twos, and I'm like, no,
I'll just call it the bottom line. I'm fine with it. I'll cave.
The bottom line.
I'll give in.
So it's the final two questions of the podcast, and they're also the two most important questions of the podcast. And people watching this for the first time are like, "Are you serious? I just watched like 45 minutes of this, and now you're telling me the most important stuff is right now." So yeah, that's what we're saying.
Fooled you.
Yeah. So question number one is, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give Monsters at Work? First episode.
Yeah, this first episode, it's like I said, it was okay. It wasn't great. It didn't titillate me to want to be invested in it that much, but I didn't hate it. There was nothing that like made me want to throw up or made me want to like poke my eyes out with a fork. So I'm going to give this one a 6.
Nice. Solid.
Mostly.
6. Wait, isn't that what I said you'd give it? I don't remember.
Maybe. So I was going to give it a 5, but just because of the top-notch voice talent that they were able to get, I'm going to give it that extra 1.
Giver. Yeah. You're a giver. Good man. Jackie, your thoughts, scale of 1 to 10?
Well, there were a lot of things that I enjoyed. Obviously the voice talents, they were, exceptional as always. I was very happy that they brought, a lot of the original cast back. It's not a show I would be excited for, like, as far as like, oh, Monsters at Work, I gotta see that. It's more like even before you approached me about doing Monsters at Work, I was like, oh, okay, there's a show there. Like I'll just, maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I won't. If there's nothing else on, I'll watch it just to see it. So now that I have seen it, it's like, okay, like it's something that I could actually binge, but more like
easy,
if I'm working.
You're walking that fine line on the second question, and Michael
and
I are both sweating profusely because you're like walking that tightrope. Just
sorry.
No, that's okay.
Boogers.
You'll find out in a moment why.
So okay, I'll just
1 to 10.
1 to 10. I'll stay on track. I'll say I'm gonna do a little bit higher. Not that it's a competition, Mike. Sorry, but I'm gonna say a 7.3.
Very nice.
Okay.
Actually, the surprise is it is a competition, and you win because you got the higher score. What a deal. What a deal. Is that a spoiler for what my score is going to be?
Yes, it is.
Like Michael, I felt like this was pretty down the middle. Truly nothing I disliked about a couple things like that I mentioned that weren't, where I was like, oh, you guys could do better and you should do better. Felt like a 5 because there was nothing that I disliked about it, nothing I really liked about it. But I'm bumping it up to, similar to Mike, I'm bumping it up to a 5.5, not so much because of the voice talent, but because it's Pixar. Pixar is always going to be high quality, even if the writing was a little bit mediocre in this one case. But Pixar is always solid. The fact that nothing was bad is already very good writing. That's a tough feat to accomplish. So I'm giving it a 5.5. Now, Jackie, the reason Michael and I were sweating so hard when you were walking that tightrope about binging is because the second and final question here is let me start over. For the purposes of this podcast, we all had to watch the first episode of Monsters at Work. But now that the podcast is over and we're free to move about the internet, would you of your own volition watch the second episode? Because that's the real question that everybody wants to know. That's what Netflix wants to know when you're watching a Netflix show. That's what Disney wants to know when you're watching a Disney show. Would you watch the second? Michael, would you?
Oh, no, go ahead.
I would, mostly because of the top-notch voice talent. I was very close on this one. I was waffling a lot, and I was like, I don't know, would I? It's like, it didn't. There was nothing that really grabbed me and was like pulling me towards the next episode to force my head to watch it. But then I was like, you know what? There's a lot of great voice talent. I'm kind of interested to see what the voice talent does in this next episode. I like the Mindy character. I like the Henry Winkler. Even though we're not going to see too much Mike and Sully, we are going to see some, because Mike's going to give his comedy classes, so that'd be interesting to watch. And yeah, so I just barely tipped over to yes. And for all those people who are wondering, yes, Michael is long for Mike.
Fact. Now, Jackie, we have tortured you long enough. You've been wanting to tell us this since the very beginning.
I've just been sweating bullets over here.
You are finally free to tell us if you, of your own volition, would watch the second episode.
I definitely would. Mostly because, not necessarily like, I've already watched it, so now I'm invested or whatever. It's not that it's a nail-biting episode or anything. It's they did set up. Now, like, first episode of anything is like always setting up a lot of exposition, always setting up, what's going to happen later on, like to keep you glued. And there are some setups, like obviously, like with Mike Wazowski's comedy school thing, that's going to be, him teaching. So it's like, okay, you can expect some more Billy Crystal in future episodes. Obviously, Val and Tyler have like a misunderstanding, sort of a relationship, like friendship. Like she thinks that they're really great friends, and he's like, I barely know you. Like that's obviously going to be a dynamic. And then of course there's the dynamic with Duncan. Like you do have established dynamics that have a lot of potential for future episodes. And I think the whole Miffed group is definitely going to like, I just see a lot of like, if you're into The Office, I feel like you're going to see a lot of those kind of hijinks and things like that. So if you enjoy it, and I did enjoy The Office, watching it way back in the day. So, I've watched this again, like it's just The Office in animation. But also you have, your old characters like Celia, Mike, Sully. You don't have Roz anymore. You have Rose now.
Very nice, though.
Basically just Roz though. So you do have a lot of the old, but you also have a lot of potential with the new. And this is definitely a show that you can binge anyway, because even if you're not watching it, you can still really appreciate the voice acting. The voice acting is just really well done, even by the new characters, especially. So there's just a lot to enjoy there. And also, but the one thing, and I really hope Pixar is listening to this.
Oh, they
so
are.
Disappointed.
Trust me.
Okay.
They are.
Good. Because, like Disney fans, we're all about like looking for Easter eggs and things like that. Yeah. In the kids' room, the one where Tyler, goes in and tries to make the kid laugh, it's all very space and science related and everything. And I was just like hunting for a Buzz Lightyear, somewhere in there. Didn't spot one at all. In fact, unless there's just something that I missed, because like a lot of the scenes were going by really, really quick. And I mean, yes, I can pause very, easily and whatnot, but I was just like, okay, you have a kid who has a science room and no Buzz Lightyear. What's going on? What'd you do? Who dropped this ball? Mm-hmm. Who dropped the ball with a little star on it? Come on, guys. What's going on here? Maybe but again, maybe it's me. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I missed a potential Easter egg. And there were like also other things too that you just sort of saw that were kind of funny, like Tyler going through the doors chasing the kid. Kind of sort of like, I don't know why that reminded me, but it reminded me of a joke that the second Toy Story, I think, did, or maybe it was the first Toy Story, where Mr. Potato Head's in the car and what's his name? He's the T-Rex. And he's like, it's a Jurassic Park joke, but I don't know why. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, the Jurassic Park joke that I thought like, oh, that would have been really funny if he did that, going through the door thing. But yeah, how do you do that anyway? Like, I don't know why. I thought it was funny and it reminded me of that. So anyway, I would binge it. Long story short, sorry. I talk too much. I'm sorry.
You're excited.
Not at all. This is a podcast, and we want you to talk.
I know.
So this is
no, but
great.
I can go off on like a billion different directions. Like I had so many notes. I was like, I'm going to write notes. I'm going to talk about these, and I talked about like maybe 4 notes.
No, but it's great. We take notes too, and you need those notes because sometimes you'll find that we all go, "Yep." Mm-hmm. Which means, I don't know what to say now. And then we just look at our notes and we go, oh yeah, here's a fun and interesting thing. So taking notes is the sign of a pro, Jackie. Thank you for doing that. So that way, if we ever ran out of things to say, you'd be like, let me pull something up for you guys and show you something. However, it's now time for me to end the suspense of whether I would watch the second episode.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah. Michael said yes. Jackie said yes. And I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no because I'm angry and disappointed. No, but just mostly because there's nothing in the story that grabbed me to make me feel like I need to watch the second episode. It was fine to watch. It was very easy to watch. It was pleasant. I have no problems watching it if it's on. It's a very watchable show. It's an easy watch. But there was nothing that made me, say like at the end, like some big twist that made me say, I got to find out. Sometimes they do that. They'll give you like a mediocre show that has like a crazy twist ending that forces you to watch the second episode. And it pisses me off when they do that. Whereas this was a decently done show, but there just wasn't anything big that's compelling me to watch the second episode. So I can move on gracefully and live my life and not watch other second episodes of other shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan hates
that, like,
watching next second episodes of anything. So
Yeah.
unless there's a cliffhanger, then he's forced to. Whereas, like,
he still
in
doesn't
this
like
case,
it.
Well, you're right,
See, I like
Michael.
watching. I like
I've given a
watching
lot of
this.
no's in a row. The last yes that we all gave was Loki.
Yeah.
Loki.
Oh, you do. Oh, I love that. I love Loki.
Yeah.
We all
So-
did
I
too.
watched.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So this is it.
Oh,
It's time to close out, everybody. Jackie, did you have
Okay.
something? Sound like you're about to say something.
I was just gonna argue with you. That's all. That, unless you want to hear me.
No,
argue
I
with
just I think Loki was a really good show. I don't care if you didn't like it.
you. No. I love Loki. Loki's a great show. I definitely am. I've actually already started working on Sylvie,
Sylvie?
So-
Oh, nice.
but not for Silicon. For just another convention, maybe Dragon Con. I don't know. We'll see.
So
Or
everybody
maybe
at
I'll do
home,
Sylvie instead of Samus.
if you haven't seen our Loki review, I'm sorry for the spoiler, but please watch the video. And maybe I'm lying, or maybe you forgot that I just said we would all watch the second episode. We all rated it pretty decently, but pretend I didn't say that and go watch that video.
And find out.
Yeah, and besides that, show Jackie some love on the internet. Go follow her and share her stuff. And that's all in the description box below. Michael is telling us. And in the comments section below, tell us to review a show. Maybe it's your favorite show. Maybe you think it's a really weird show and you just want other people to see it to confirm, you're going to think, am I crazy or is this show weird? And you want us to watch it and confirm that, yes, one of those two possibilities. And besides that, please make sure that you like this video and subscribe and hit the bell notification. Guess that's it. What I'm trying to say is that this podcast was like a Granny Apple Smith. Wait, is that? No, Granny Smith Apple.
Hey, Smith.
Granny Apple Smith.
I thought the Apple was her middle name.
And Granny was her first
not her
name?
breed.
Yeah. You don't know any grannies?
All
I know
right.
my granny.
That's all I got, Michael. It's your turn. I'm
Oh.
sorry.
All right. This podcast was a big, furry, huggable monster.
And this podcast was a pink lady.
Nice.
That's an
Well,
apple
it's a type of
because
apple,
you
yeah.
said Granny Apple Smith, so I got to
I
top
know.
that with a much superior apple.
You
So
are right. You know what? I like Fuji apples. Those are,
Fuji's are good.
they're always solid.
Honeycrisp.
Yeah.
Honeycrisps are good
Yeah,
too.
they're very rarely liquid.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're usually quite solid.
So what we're trying to
See,
say,
I can make
everybody
bad
at home-
jokes too,
No,
Ryan.
you're absolutely right. I thought it was an Odo joke. Solids and liquids. Here we go. Here it comes. Don't forget what Mr. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg always likes to say.
Don't forget to register to be an organ donor, and don't forget to watch the first of things.